Here we go. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Still getting used to the minority over here, so very much appreciate the chairman's remarks and him impaneling today's legislative hearing, and looking forward to the testimony that we'll receive from the witnesses today. As the chairman articulated, we'll be considering 8 recreation bills, continuing important work on measures like the BOLT Act and the SOAR Act that we started last Congress. I always enjoy the opportunity to hear public lands and outdoor recreation bills in this subcommittee. Outdoor recreation is important not only to me personally, to my family, but to my constituents back home in Colorado, and something that I've been proud to work on during my time in Congress. The first bill I'd like to highlight today is my legislation, H.R. 1319, the Biking on Long Distance Trails Act, or BOLT Act, which I introduced with my good friends and Natural Resource Committee members, Representative Curtis of Utah and Lee of Nevada. This legislation would, in short, require DOI and USDA to establish long-distance bike trails across the country, not only making it safer and more accessible to Americans, but also providing opportunities to boost the outdoor recreation economy. This bill is a bipartisan and bicameral piece of legislation, and I look forward to hearing from our witnesses later today to speak about its importance. I was certainly glad that this bill passed on unanimous consent out of this committee a year ago in the last Congress, and also through the full House of Representatives on a strong bipartisan vote, and certainly look forward to advancing this legislation out of the committee again this year. Next on the agenda is H.R. 1527 with my, again, good friend, Representative John Curtis out of Utah, the Simplifying Outdoor Access for Recreation, or SOAR Act, which in short would modernize special recreation permitting to increase access on public lands. It would in turn, of course, grow the outdoor recreation economy, provide our communities with the physical and mental health benefits of enjoying time outside in our public lands. It's a major priority for small businesses across certainly Colorado and the Rocky Mountain West, the outfitter and guide community, and I'm really hoping that we can get it all the way across the finish line before the end of this Congress. We've also been working with Mr. Curtis. I know he's introduced another bill on today's agenda that we've partnered with him on as an original co-sponsor, and that's Protecting America's Rock Climbing Act, or the Park Act, which aims to protect recreational climbing and establish consistency in climbing management on federal lands by requiring the USDA and DOI to establish guidance on climbing in wilderness areas. I'm looking forward to hearing from the witnesses on this particular piece of legislation and ensuring that we also get this bill across the finish line. Next up, H.R. 930, a bill that is incredibly important to the people of Colorado and to the mountain communities that I represent, and that's the Ski Hill Resources for Economic Development, or SHRED Act of 2023, which I'm proud to be working and co-sponsored with Representative Custer of New Hampshire. Proud to co-lead this bill, and I'm looking forward to discussing the legislation today. The ski community consists of 122 ski areas across our nation's public lands, including many world-renowned ski areas that I am lucky enough to represent in my district. Many of you, I'm sure, have visited places like Vail, Breckenridge, Winter Park, Keystone, Copper Mountain, all of which I have the privilege and honor of representing. And it is critical that these areas and our national forests are properly funded for the outdoor recreational economy and community, and to protect our lands and our resources. The SHRED Act will provide needed funding for resources in national forests to support winter recreation by creating a ski fee area retention account, which essentially would allow the retainment of fees for a reinvestment in our local forests. It's a really important bill, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about it today. Of course, we have H.R. 1614, the Range Access Act, introduced by a former member of this august body who is now on an exclusive committee, I believe, but Mr. Moore of Utah. H.R. 1614 would establish free recreational shooting ranges in all qualifying national forests and Bureau of Land Management public land districts. Recreational shooting is already authorized on public lands, but these shooting ranges can provide a safe environment to engage in the sport. H.R. 1642, a bill that I strongly support, introduced by my colleague, Representative McClintock, the Law Enforcement Officer and Firefighter Recreation Pass Act, would amend the Federal Lands Recreation Enhancement Act to provide national parks and federal recreational lands passes to law enforcement officers and firefighters. Currently, the NPS has a process in place to issue free passes to a select group of individuals, including U.S. military members and veterans. I commend the work of our law enforcement officers and our firefighters, our first responders, to keep our public lands and our communities, our families safe, and am very supportive of the legislation that's been introduced by Mr. McClintock. Over the past couple of days, we have received, the committee, several letters from groups including the Outdoor Alliance, Back County Hunters and Anglers, and the Winter Wildlands Alliance, the American Mountain Guides Association, and the Outdoor Recreation Roundtable Association, and I would ask unanimous consent to enter these letters into the hearing record.
So ordered.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With that being said, I look forward to hearing from the witnesses this morning, and again, want to thank them for taking the time to testify before the subcommittee, and thank the chairman for putting these bills on the legislative hearing today, and I yield back.